All right, everybody, we're still here at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame this weekend over here in Butler, Indiana. And we got not only a chance to meet Jim Kramer, but we got to meet Rebecca Schnell with Bigfoot. And you drive what number nowadays?
I drive Bigfoot number 15.
Number 15.
Yes, sir.
So, one thing, you're a girl driving a monster truck, right?
Yes.
How does one get to do this?
I kind of somewhat lucked into my scenario. I married a man that already worked for Bigfoot, and I crewed for him for many, many years.
So you kind of piggybacked off him. You married him just to get to Bigfoot.
I would say I put in a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Well, men are work. Yeah, we know that.
Into my opportunity to drive the truck.
Okay, so was this always the trucks, or I rumored that you were in the shop at first?
I was in the shop working on Darren's truck. Every time we
Okay.
would break something, I would probably be the one in there fixing it,
Okay.
and or keeping it clean, getting it ready for the next show,
Great.
along with the other team members of Bigfoot. And
Okay.
then moved into a spot of an opportunity for a show series in Europe with Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live. And
Really? Okay.
they asked us to both go, and then they asked if I would drive as one
Okay.
of their drivers as well.
So when you first started this, obviously, you just told me you're young age, only 30.
Yes, sir.
So when did you start getting this? I mean, in high school, did you just you wanted to be a mechanic, or what? I mean, how did this go?
So I grew up an agriculture girl, went
Okay.
in all the ag classes, wanted to be a veterinarian my whole life.
Sure.
Changed into that, but I also grew up going to monster truck shows. I'm born and raised a North Carolina girl.
Oh.
Went to monster truck shows all throughout my childhood years in Greensboro Coliseum.
Okay.
So I went to shows, always knew that I wanted to be somewhat involved in motorsports, but I, unlike some people, didn't grow up in a family of motorsports.
Okay.
Met a man that was in motorsports, and that's kind of how I got my into the motorsports industry.
Sure.
Yep. But I wound up becoming an emergency room nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 7 years this year.
Well,
as my full-time
okay.
job. Thank you.
Full-time job.
And then being a wife of a monster truck driver for the last 10 years come May.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, how did he get associated with Bob Chandler and
Absolutely.
Bigfoot and everything?
So Darren volunteered with a team in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, right
Okay.
down the street with a group, and they had a driver opportunity come up. Darren applied, got a CDL. He's been with the team for, I think, nearly 13 years at this point. Yep.
And that's what he does full-time?
Full-time.
Okay. So, and then whenever you're off from the nursing, then you go with them on tour?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Spend a lot of days in the shop when I'm
A lot of days in the shop, okay. How did it, like the first day you're in the shop, they just asked you, say, would you like to drive, or how did that come about, to get in the truck?
This is a long story, but I'll give you a Cliff Note version.
Okay, sure, what do you got?
We're at open house in 2019, I believe. I could be wrong on the year, but 2019 open house, and I get pulled into the office with legendary Dan Runty,
Yep.
Bob, his wife, and they sit me down, and I, at that point, was thinking, well, is Darren getting fired? Honestly. I was like, what did Darren do, and is he getting fired? Then I see Bob. This is Bob Chandler's son-in-law. He looks at me, and he's got, like, almost a tear in his eye, and I'm like, something's going on, this is not right. And then his wife, Ann, who is Bob's daughter, starts talking, and she goes, Rebecca, we've watched you over the years. You put in a lot of hard work. We know this is an opportunity that you've been wanting, and we want to know if you want to go across the seas and drive a truck for us. And I didn't hear a word after that, because I thought it was a joke. I had dreamed for this for so many years. I never knew I was going to get an opportunity.
Right.
And when she asked me that, my jaw dropped. I was speechless for probably 30 seconds before I could respond to her.
Okay.
And she's like, no, you don't have to respond right away. And I'm like, but you don't understand.
You couldn't even hold yourself in.
Absolutely not. And so therefore
That's
then
a
I went
dream for
through,
everybody.
absolutely. And then to be honest with you, my teacher was the legendary Dan Runty. He taught me pretty much everything I know about driving. He has been my go-to person to ask any questions. I fired my husband intermittently because while he's an amazing husband, he's not a good teacher. I think most husbands and wives would understand where I come from that
You can't be together 24/7. I have a good friend of mine, I won't say who it is. He's over here with me with the show, and they kind of have the same chemistry. It works that same way.
It's a hard job, yeah. So then, therefore, I went in through a training session and learned how to drive. They loaded my truck up in November, and I started driving in show series in January.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a
It's been
great
an amazing
story.
opportunity. Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing seeing you here today, and
thank you.
Like I said, I've seen you on television and everything else, and I just had to come meet you. So
Thank you. It's
I
a
want to
pleasure.
thank you for everything. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Until next time, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.